reached the summer break, we know that 2022 will be Suzuki's last season in MotoGP. It's a decision that, while it does leave us with some sadness, we also know that we can look back on all the good that Suzuki have done for Grand Prix motorcycle racing over the years. With 9 rounds to go, we can hope that there can be a fairy tale ending for Suzuki, as so far in 2022, not everything has gone to plan. Rewind all the way back to Qatar, and many were tipping Suzuki as one of the factories that had made the largest step for 2022. A new engine that saw them with enough horsepower to compete with the V4s and changes to their chassis initially seemed positive, but when race day rolled around, the Suzuki show that so many thought could arrive never really did. It was by no means a bad opening night for Mir and Rins, but 6th and 7th wasn't quite the performance they had expected. Indonesia was a weekend where once again the Suzuki pairing crossed the line next to each other, but they have very different routes to get there. Rins had the upper hand heading into race day thanks to managing to squeeze through into Q2, but despite starting from a lowly 18th, the rain on Sunday saw Mir soar to 6th, just behind teammate Rins in 5th. All in all, it was another weekend Suzuki couldn't really take too much from, as iffy conditions saw them grab results they weren't completely satisfied with, but Argentina would see them start to come strong. In typical Suzuki fashion, their race pace looked better than their one-lap pace in Argentina, and when qualifying rolled around, they were once again pitched towards the back foot for Sunday, thanks to being on the 3rd row of the grid. But in their other line of typical Suzuki fashion, they pulled off quite a brilliant surge through the pack, crossing the line 3rd and 4th, and both within 2 seconds of race winner Aleix Espargaro at the flag. It was the performance we've been waiting for from Suzuki, and it signified they had finally found their feet in 2022. If there was one thing that characterised Suzuki in 2022 so far, it was that you could barely separate Rins and Mir. At round 4 in America, they once again lined up next to each other on the grid, and then what followed was another positive ride for both. Rins would race to 2nd place in Kota, and Mir wasn't that far behind in 4th. While Mir was frustrated to finish 4th behind his teammate once again, there was a real sense that Suzuki's momentum was starting to build, as at the time they found themselves 2nd and 4th in the standings. The return to Europe can either make or break your season, and looking at the grid in Portimao, you'd say they had made Mir's and broken Rins. They could barely have been further away from each other, with Mir 2nd and Rins 23rd, but from one day to the next, fortunes can change so quickly. Whilst Mir led the early laps, he would eventually slip to 3rd, unable to live with the pace, and then it would all come crashing down after being taken out by Jack Miller on lap 18. Rins, however, had one of the rides of the season. He came across the line after lap 1 in 10th, an incredible 13 positions up from where he qualified. And on lap 25, as the checker flag flew, Rins crossed the line in an astonishing 4th place. Rins' championship challenge was well and truly on. But just as confidence was peaking, Suzuki's season was struck down. Jerez race day was largely frustrating. Mir may have climbed from 9th to 6th, but it was a result that didn't do his championship hopes any good, and Rins fared even worse. After a big moment on lap 9 through Jerez's fast turn 11, he dropped all the way to the back and only recovered to a lowly 19th. But if we thought Suzuki's Sunday was dramatic, it was the rumours on Monday that really sent things flying. Rumours emerged at the Jerez test on Monday that Suzuki were reportedly planning a shock exit from MotoGP at the end of 2022. It sent the MotoGP world into frenzy, catching all by surprise, even us here at MotoGP. And with no official word from Suzuki, it left a very tense atmosphere heading to Le Mans. Eventually the news would arrive on the Thursday of the French GP that Suzuki confirmed their intentions to leave MotoGP at the end of the season.
It's a situation that nobody wants to hear about, you know. We were in a shock.
Whether it was related or not, following the news, Suzuki slumped into their most luckless streak of 2022 so far. A double DNF in France saw the removal of the last bit of good luck they had, and it was particularly disheartening after Rins was up in 3rd early on and Mir crashed out of a strong 4th. Mugello was next up, and after a strong showing in 2021, Suzuki were hoping to rebound after their double DNF in France. But unfortunately, the racing gods weren't on their side either, after both Suzukis crashed out on lap 8. And rolling on to Barcelona, a turn of good luck wasn't to be found for Rins at his home race. On the opening lap, his race was cut short before it had barely even started after contact with Taka Nakagami sent the Suzuki rider flying and then later to hospital, where it was discovered he had sustained a broken wrist. Better luck did return for Mir as he raced from 17th to 4th, but despite the good result, he was far from happy as he struggled getting his GSX RR stopped all weekend long. Rins bravely gave it a go at the Sachsenring, but with a circuit that's so tight and twisty, there's very little time to rest. He decided it was better to sit out the remainder of the weekend, and as Suzuki looked to Mir to salvage their weekend, the result they were hoping for never came, as his race met an early end. One final stop before the summer break gave Suzuki the opportunity to finish on a more positive note. But once again, Suzuki's results fell short of their own high expectations, as Mir and Rins took 8th and 10th as they head for the summer break. Suzuki, perhaps along with Honda, are the teams that need a summer break more than most. As Suzuki head towards calling time on their MotoGP involvement for now, we truly hope they can get back to the podiums and wins that we've seen from them in the past. With only 9 more opportunities to see their beautiful GSX RRs on track, sadly, Suzuki's final hurrah grows ever closer.
Hello guys, it's Joan Mir. If you enjoy this, turn on your notifications and you will not miss any videos.